3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Small Talk on the Mats. My guest today is someone that I actually met when we both worked at T-Mobile many years ago. He's been in the film and music industry for the past 20 years. He founded his own film production company called KN Productions. He's also worked on a few projects that you might have seen or heard about. We'll actually go over that here in a sec. And then, not only that, but he's a proud father and husband. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I present to you Khalid Nas. How you doing, brother?
Hey, doing good, man. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Of course, bro. Thank you for coming on. And it's exciting. Like I said before we started rolling, I got a Q&A format here with a lot of questions. And I'm excited to get to know you a little more in depth, as the audience is too, man. So you ready to jump into it?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, man, let's do it. So the first category is background and early life. So we got a few questions here to kick it off here. So going off your bio, man, you were born in Pakistan and you've been in Albuquerque for over 2 decades now. Right. So what do you remember most vividly about your early years, and how did that shape who you are today?
Man, it's interesting. It's so better half of my life, my adulthood, I've spent here in the United States. So I'm kind of half and half right now.
Okay.
So early life, just going to school, raised my mom and dad. Dad worked and mom didn't, like typical household back home. And of course, it's different culture, different way of living. But as far as America it goes, it's just like, grew up watching MTV and, America. So the whole outlook on America was different till I got here, and I was like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
There's real life. It's not all parties and Baywatch and MTV and all that. But siblings, older and younger, and just like your typical, it was very fast. Just schooling was pretty much all I remember, and right after I graduated, I moved to the U.S., got accepted at UNM, and the real life actually really started here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, cool. So what was it like adjusting to life when you came to the U.S., when you first moved here in 2003, you said, right?
Right.
Okay.
Man, I just celebrated my 21st birthday, and a few weeks later I was here. So it was a lot to process, but the fast lifestyle, the cultural shock, going to school, learning everything just as if it was all dumped on me.
Yeah.
So sure. I just didn't get a chance to process everything properly.
Okay.
So I just took it as it as it came. So so school, UNM, it was like UNM, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's, just getting to know how it works. It was just, and then I was staying here with a family, and they still kept their roots and the way things work. So I was kind of in a tug, wanting to experience a lot of things, but I couldn't.
Okay.
But then I did. So it was a huge cultural shock, that's for sure.
I'm sure.
And then New Mexico has its own culture.
Yeah.
So that was different. I was like, okay, I was expecting, going to college, parties, drinking, all that stuff. I saw some of that.
Yeah.
But again, it wasn't like as glamorous as it was. New Mexico has its own culture, and I was like, okay, well, there's this.
Yeah.
Which was nice. It helped me, because if I was somewhere in New York or big city, then I might have been bulldozed. So this kind of eased me into laid back, accepting people. People are kind of laid back, chill,
Yeah.
nice, and very nice people. So I was like, okay, well, it was God's blessing that transition wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, definitely. That wasn't as bad of a time either in 2003 when you came here. So that's good you came there when you did.
Right. God's works, man.
Yeah. Okay. So how has being both Pakistani and American influenced your creative work and your personal identity?
Man, it's interesting. So it wasn't intended. I had no intentions in being in media or anything. I just wanted to go to school, get my degree, and find a decent profession or whatever.
Yeah.
But interesting story. I was hanging out, and it would have been maybe a few weeks into my settling here. I was hanging out with my uncles and cousins up. Well, I wasn't gambling or anything. I was just hanging out with them at the casino, San Diego Casino.
Okay.
And my uncles, they so just to give you a little background, my family from my mom's side moved here back in the 80s, I would believe. So
Okay.
that was my connection to the U.S.
Okay.
And we were hanging out there, and he knows a lot of people because he owns a business. And he ran into someone, and this lady, she owned a modeling agency.
Okay.
So he introduced me to her. He was like, "Hey, this is my nephew. He just moved from Pakistan." And she was like, "Oh, wow, I was skinnier. I had like a little bit of longer hair, whatever." And she was like, "Oh, is he a model?" And he was like, "No, he's going to UNM." And she was like, "Okay." So we started talking. And she was like, "Would you be interested?" I was like, "Yeah, you know." I can't do much because I'm on a student visa,
Yeah.
you know, from money standpoint. But yeah, hey, who doesn't want to be, especially in the United States? So there was a photo session. They paid for it, and then there were a couple of movies. Last project, and it was background, of course.
Yeah.
And the last project was 50-1. It was a pretty big production. I was playing Makhtoum's Entourage. It was good to see myself on big screen. It was like microsecond for it. I was like, God, I don't look bad at all. So it just, anyways, it was just like, and it was all background. And I got a few more calls, but I was like, man, I it's not practical.
Yeah.
So when I started working at Verizon, I started there in 2008.
Okay.
And then moved into retail. It was, I believe, 2011.
Okay.
And media wasn't that big. It was there, but it wasn't that big. I mean, all we had was maybe Facebook. It was before Facebook, but Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was interested in like how the camera worked and editing softwares and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I started with the iPhone because the iPhone 4 had a real nice camera.
Yeah.
So I would just film like little stuff at work or whatever and just edit it and make it look like a feature film.
Yeah.
Add like whatever effects. And I was doing that as a hobby. And then I didn't realize I started buying cameras, lights, editing software, sound, equipment, whatnot. And it was just all out of a hobby. Like
Yeah.
wasn't planning on doing anything with it. So had a few opportunities with Verizon. They wanted to do some internal commercials. So did those, and they somehow made it to national whatever competition was.
Yeah.
And the top two videos like made it. Like I made it for a couple of stores, and they liked it, and they were like, okay, well this looks pretty good. So they flew us to Dallas, and that was in that would have to be 2018. I was there for the draft.
Okay.
28 NFL draft. They flew us there. We played flag football with like John Kitna and like famous
Nice.
and hotel stay, very VIP treatment.
Nice.
So people started saying, man, you did a great job. Why don't you do it full time? Why don't you, I was like, okay. So I gave it a thought, and I started investing more into it. And then I was like, okay. So I did a couple of projects, and they ended up being full-on productions.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, let's do it. So I in between there was music as well. So I was involved in that. But I took a complete break from work and started this full time, and it was in 2018.
Okay. Gotcha. That's sweet. Good little background story to jump into the future questions here in a minute.
Okay.
All right, cool. So you mentioned your Christian faith. How has your spirituality guided your path through life and the entertainment industry?
Well, so my parents very very close to God.
Yeah.
And we were raised as such.
Mm-hmm.
But But then the transition happened, and I came to the States, and so little enjoyment leads into more, and then there's always a fine line, and now I think about it, it wasn't something like major, but I might have crossed that line.
Yeah.
I just went into, because I was working at a great company, making a lot of money. I was single,
Yeah.
so that kind of, I may have crossed the line where I was not living a Christian life.
Yeah.
So I was enjoying it, having a lot of pleasure, more than a man should have.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, there was something that was like, okay, there's nothing wrong with enjoying life, but you may have crossed over to the other side.
Yeah.
And whatever I did, I just felt like, I should get back to where I need to be.
Yeah.
So, when there's something excessive, it kind of becomes a burden on your heart. Like it nothing pleases you. Get to a point where nothing pleases you, nothing satisfies you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I started going back to church and started experiencing, because I didn't want to be a brainwashed Christian.
Yeah.
Like that takes you away from your personal experience with God.
Yeah.
So what I backed off, and I started seeing it as a neutral person. Like, what if I wasn't Christian? What if I didn't have, and I was just seeing my relationship with God, or my spiritual relationship, as a fresh, new perspective about it.
Yeah.
Because we all have that honesty. Everyone, I believe everyone has that honest love, but it's buried deep down there. And in the moment of justification, whatever we are trying to justify that goes against it, it tells us, but we are so tied up in justification where we just leave it buried there.
Mm-hmm.
So my journey was not outwards, it was more inwards, to see how deep I can go with honesty.
Okay.
And I can't say that I completely got there, but I got pretty close to it. I don't want to make that lifestyle.
Yeah.
So when I hear certain people saying certain things, or from religious standpoint or whatever, I'm just like, I think to myself, like, is it coming from like down there, like very deep, very deep?
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, it's like hard to discern that if the person sitting next to you or whoever it is coming from that place.
Gotcha.
I think that's where authenticity is. Like
when
certain people say like simple thing, but it's coming from deep down there, and you just connect it. You just like it.
Yeah.
And then some people just code it, or even myself maybe, and it's just not, you don't have that attraction towards it. So that's how I started. So when I saw, going back to what you asked, the spiritual side of it, I was like, okay, well, there has to be balance. I mean, you can't be, because we have a life, we have flesh, we have to enjoy life. It's a gift of God.
Mm-hmm.
But how can I be honest in, my spirituality? Because at the end of this, it's a connection with God. I can't please you. I mean, I might put up a face or whatever, or a facade, and you'll buy it right away. You're not,
Mm-hmm.
But it really doesn't matter, because someone said a while ago, I am to you what your perspective of me is.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Which means everyone has their own perspective about me.
Yeah.
Which means I have how many hundreds of identities out there, but doesn't mean that's me.
Right.
I know me and my, deepest whatever connection with God is. So
yeah.
I just started to, not like, just trying to have that very solid internal, very deep relationship and honesty. So I think that's where it is. That's where it boils down to. So that's where I stand, and I'm constantly just digging in within myself to see where I stand in that regard.
Gotcha. All right. That's deep. Thank you. So we'll jump into film and the modeling journey, like you mentioned a little earlier. So you started modeling in 2004. What initially drew you to that world? Well, you mentioned kind of, but how did it open the door to acting?
So that was not intended whatsoever. Modeling was just like, okay, I wanted to look good, wanted to have, had a lot more hair back then. Wanted to, so they had, when these agencies, whatever trends are, they kind of guide you through it. It's like, okay, this is the trend, and you see it on TV, whatever it is. So had a photo shoot, started, and what this modeling agency did was, I didn't know, but they had, where if there was a film project here, they would cast these models as backgrounds.
Okay.
So the agency I was with, they were like, "Hey, we would like for you to have you worked and with projects like that, acting." I was like, "No." So the first ever movie, it was a set for a background, and I was supposed to be a football player or something.
Okay.
So the cast. So there's a casting call. I was there, but there's another where they call the people to be on camera or in the frame.
Okay.
And I didn't even make the cut. They were like, okay, well, yeah, you can, because man, I was skinny. I was like close to 6 feet tall, but not like they were massive dudes like for football.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, okay, well, I didn't even make it to the camera. I was like, I didn't even know what a set looked like. So I went home. But the second one was like where these people are like, okay, well, we would like for you to be in the frame.
Okay.
And that's when I saw like the cameras, the lights, the directors, and all the calls. I was like, God, this is fascinating. This is so cool.
Yeah.
So it was just primarily background. And
Okay.
that's how I kind of transitioned from modeling to
Okay.
that, yeah.
Yeah, at least you got your foot in the door.
Yeah, that was so unintentional. I could never dream of, especially someone coming from Pakistan and then you have a Hollywood movie right there. It's like, oh, okay, how does that happen?
Yeah, okay. All right, so you've worked on feature films, including 50 to 1 you just mentioned, right? So what's one experience from a film set that's stayed with you over the years?
Man, it's just the different pre-production to post-production. It's on these big sets I was just background. I wouldn't say, but I observed. I saw like this, these big trucks with all the equipment, the cameras, the lights, and all the work that goes into it. Man, there's like, you might see in one shot like one or two people, but there's like a whole army of people behind them. There's like sounds, cameras, lights, and then they have their assistants and PAs. It's like everyone's so focused on what they're trying to accomplish, and that really fascinated me.
Yeah, I've seen. I've been on movie sets, but I was working for a security company a few years back, and they would get hired to be on set, right, as security. So I kind of witnessed like the background of it, which you just mentioned, which was, again, it was fascinating to me too, to see like all the behind the scenes stuff of people back and forth, just always moving. And I'm like, dang, this is crazy. Nobody sees that stuff, right? So
sometimes there's just a 5-second whatever footage it is, and might not even make it to the cut, but sometimes a whole day goes behind.
Yeah,
to film that.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So balancing a full-time job at Verizon and growing a film career must have been pretty intense, right? So how did you manage both worlds at that time? So
I was single, and I loved working. So when I was on, doing the film projects, I was so invested into it. I didn't think about anything else. And when I was working, I wasn't, I would still think about filming because, just, I don't know, you're young, all this energy comes out. When you love something, it just really doesn't, time, just, you make it happen.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it was.
Okay. Gotcha. So when did you realize that it was time to take the leap and fully commit to your creative career?
Delusion. Like unrealistic expectations. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to make, my first project, I'll just hit it and become a millionaire or whatever resources. And that didn't happen. So, but I had enough, practically speaking, I had enough money. I was like, okay, if it doesn't work out, then at least I'm not going to be out on the streets.
Okay.
Like that. I was well aware of my responsibilities and obligations.
Okay.
But I had to take that chance. Otherwise, it was just like, any dream without any action is just a dream.
Right.
And
Yeah.
just with time, it just goes away.
Yeah.
So when I was nervous about it. I was like,
Yeah. Of course.
and I was right, and it didn't get where I wanted it to be.
Okay.
So, and then COVID happened. And it was just like,
Yeah. COVID messed a lot of things up for a lot of people.
I was like right here when that happened, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it's affected a lot of people worldwide. That's for sure. And not in a positive way.
Right.
So we'll jump into music and production. What inspired your transition from from film to music production? And to caveat that question, what story does your song Lego tell?
Oh my God. All right.
That's what Draymond, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And shout out to him. This is a cool guy. Man, so we grew up. We had our home church, and I used to be on the music side of things. I used to play keyboard, and so music was there, but not to this point.
Okay.
So I hadn't composed anything. It was just like playing music for church and whatnot. So I ran. I don't know. I was playing something, and I don't know. I ran into Drummond through someone.
Okay.
I don't remember. Oh, it was Ryan. Yeah, probably Ryan. He was like a friend of the family, and he was helping me out. He was like, "Hey, let's this guy, he's a rapper and whatnot." Oh, I don't know anything about rappers. Like I heard 50 Cent, and I was a great artist and all, just the big artists. But I don't know. I've never. I can't rap. I don't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought of collaboration. I was like, you know what? It's going to be on like a local base, but it has some Middle Eastern, touch to it.
Okay.
But it's, it has nice Western instruments. So, Mike C, I want to give him a shout out. I don't know if you've heard of him. A lot of people have Mike C. Carpenter. He's big time. He's like up there when it comes to music producers and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I sat down with Drummond. I was like, "Hey, and you can say no if you don't want to, but I shared the vision with him. It was like, yeah, let's do it."
Mm.
So we sat down with Mike, and Mike C is like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." Very cool, down to earth man. So we recorded this song, and I was like, "Okay, well, I have a film background. Let's make a video."
Oh, nice.
So it was a full-on video and music production, and I was like, okay, this one might hit the charts.
Yeah.
But it didn't. The total money we made was like 73 cents or something.
Yeah. Well, like you said for the previous question, I mean, if you wouldn't have taken a shot at it, you would have never known. It would have just been something else swept under the rug. So.
But the music part, yeah, it kept going, and I have actually a couple of global, and it just circled back. I don't know, but it circled back. I have a couple of global projects that I'm working on right now. It's in the pre-production.
Okay.
But I'll let you know. I'll definitely let you know.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I'm excited to hear about that too.
What's up, everybody? This podcast is brought to you and sponsored by the Rock Family Therapy. Not every battle is fought in combat. Some are fought in silence, in your head, in your home, or behind the mask you wear every day. At the Rock Family Therapy, they stand with those who fight to rise again. Veterans, first responders, parents, or anyone carrying the weight of trauma, loss, or stress. This isn't just talk therapy. It's rebuilding from the inside out. It's mental conditioning for life. A place to reset, refocus, and rise stronger. Whether your uniform is military, professional, or just the armor you put on to make it through the day. If you're ready to face what's been holding you back, they're ready for you. Call or text 505-336-0238 or email r.villy@therockfamilytherapy.com or visit therockfamilytherapy.com because warriors come in many forms and every warrior needs a rock. What's up, everybody? This podcast is sponsored and brought to you by Toehold. As you know, I've been a longtime customer and supporter of Toehold. I'll give you 3 reasons why I love this company. 1 is because they're huge supporters of veterans, law enforcement, and first responders. 2nd reason is because everything is American made with integrity as it should be. And 3rd reason is because they have the best customer service that you'll ever receive with timely responses. Now, their main focus is flip-flops that'll last you a lifetime, but they also sell caps, shirts, rash guards, wallets, you name it. One of my favorite ethically sourced exotic leathers here is Murder Hippo flip-flops. We got stingray, elephant, crocodile, and if you don't want an exotic leather, you got different options on vegetable tan leather with stamps and colors. And going to the wallets here, we got zebra, we got stingray, we got John Wayne style minimalist wallet, and then going to the key fobs. So guys, go show your support. You have so many options with different exotic leathers. Go show your support for AG and Toehold. Tell them I sent you. Thank you. Peace out.
So the next question for you is, so you've done both visual storytelling and musical storytelling at that point. So how do the creative processes differ for you?
It's just I just sit down, and if it's music, I start playing music, and it's not like very planned. It just comes to me, sort of thing, inspiration, or one leads to another type of thing.
Okay.
So both for film, it's like, whether it's directing, screenwriting, whether it's composing music, it's just like there's so much to it,
Yeah.
And it all just comes in and blends in, and that's what I love about this process.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned filming internal Verizon commercials earlier in the session here and winning awards for them. I don't know if you mentioned that, but you did mention that in your bio. You won a few awards. What did those early projects teach you about storytelling?
Man, it's just that you have to keep it real. It has to be very, even if it's intentional goof ups, it has to be real though.
Okay.
So on screen, people catch those things. They do, man.
Yeah, their critics are good at doing that.
Yeah, they do, and just be careful with whatever it is that you're doing. Not, the worst thing you can do is thinking, oh, okay, people won't see it. No, believe me, that's the first thing people would see. So that's another thing I like about it. So from creative standpoint, so what this whole directing and making films did to it messed me up in a way where when now I watch movies, I see it from different perspectives. Okay. How did this camera guy, what lens was he using? How did he? So, especially horror movies now, I don't get scared because, okay, well, I know what's going on. So it kind of ruined a couple of things for me. But the detail, man, that's where it is. And then you see, when there's a mess up, you see it.
Yeah.
It's right there. And same with the music. It's like people have ears. People been listening to music, and they know when when there's heart into it or not.
Yeah.
So I think it's all it all comes from here. You have to be very honest with yourself and in what you're doing.
Okay. That's a good perspective to throw out there for the audience.
Right.
The next topic is entrepreneurship and KN Productions. Mm-hmm. So finding your own company, KN Productions, is a pretty big step, I would say, for anybody, right? For any entrepreneur. What vision did you have when you first started it?
I just wanted it to be a complete entertainment, like both music and film.
Okay.
Primarily film and then music. But like I said, with COVID, it put a pretty big stop to it.
Yeah.
So and I haven't rebooted it since then. So that's the next step. So it has, you have, of course, to start a company, you have to have paperwork, you have to have licenses and all that. So there's a lot of liabilities that go into it, and I want to be careful with that. So just giving it a different direction. I'm rebooting it to come 2026. I'm starting KN Productions back again.
Awesome.
But at this, but it's a reboot. It's like the things I thought would happen and didn't happen.
Yeah.
And it took me, this break gave me the opportunity to find out why it didn't happen.
Okay.
So now the reboot's going to be it'll have all those considerations, and hopefully it'll make it this time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially because COVID's not a thing anymore, right?
Right.
And affecting many people.
Maybe
so.
I use it as an excuse,
Well, it did it give a lot of businesses. Business is shut down. So I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's you're trying to justify it, but
right.
Yeah. Okay. So how did we'll jump into that. How did the pandemic shift your plans from pitching scripts to Netflix and Amazon?
So I had a couple of producers, and I can't mention their names. I mean, they're big.
Okay.
And they were working with a couple of scripts, and I had those, and they shared with me. And in fact, it's funny. These are big names, and they were in my living room,
Okay.
having pre-production meeting with, and there were some big names from economic development from New Mexico involved in that as well, and they were thinking about how we can get the funding or whatever was needed to get those projects going. But like I said, it was towards the end of 2018, beginning of 2019. That's when COVID hit. So
Yeah. So it just kind of wrapped. What was like the end result of that? Did it just say, well, things are happening now, and we're gonna have to put a put a pause on this, or was it just like, hey, sorry, it's
it started with the pause, and then it just didn't happen.
okay? Gotcha. All right. So can you tell us more about Offset, which is a web series? A lot of people, I'm sure, are not familiar with that yet. How did you become involved, and what was your experience as executive producer and director for that?
So it was post-COVID, and there was an opportunity on Facebook. So Nazneen Rahim, she's very active in the film scene here in New Mexico, and she posted like, "Hey, we were looking for." There were different roles and different positions, and I was more interested in directing.
Okay.
So I put my name in the hat, and they contacted me, and it was like, okay, well, we have another person. The episode was, God, what was it? I should know it, but it was my first. Oh, Rapunzel.
Okay.
So Offset is about making. So let's say if these were big characters, Disney, whatever, in the film, if they were moved to Albuquerque, it's a mockumentary, right? What kind of struggles they would have. And this specific script was about she moves here, and she's an artist too, so acting is not working out, but she transitions into, and then she sucks at that too, so she goes to a local gallery but can't really sell it, but it was all built around. And then Michelle Belmont, she's a great actor, very talented, but she wrote the script about it.
Okay.
So they gave me this, and I was like, God, I would love to. So just to give you a little bit of Offset web series, it's a great institution, I would say, sort of. It's a nonprofit.
Okay.
And the community comes, so the people that are involved in production, pre-production, post-production, man, these people work on big projects.
Mm-hmm.
And they give their time. The shooting only happens over the weekends.
Okay.
These are not paid gigs, but there's a budget. Of course, we feed the people. You have to feed them.
Yeah.
And catering, that's where the money goes. But from pre-production, they have casting calls. They have, like, if you want to learn about filming, how filming works, professional filming, Offset Web Series is the place.
Okay.
So the producer, Joe Lonesome, cool guy. Like, there's a lot of people that I love, but one of the few that I'm like, I deeply respect and love them, and Joe Lonesome is one of them. He's the founder and the visionary of Offset, and it's going on since 2017. But what I'm talking about, it happened around 2020 or 2021. So they were like, okay, well, we'll give you a chance. So they gave me a chance, and I directed it, and it was fun, man. It was like from pre to post production, and they screen it in cinemas and big screen, on big screen. So I was like, it was good to see my work there,
course.
and everyone that's involved. So that's how it started, and then a couple of years later, we ran into each other. It was like there was an opportunity for leadership, like executive producer position. So he was like, and I was like, hey, I would love to be part of that, because I think they usually have 3 executive producers, 3 to 4.
Yeah.
And maybe he was looking for one, and I happened to be there, right place at the right time kind of deal.
Yeah.
And then I helped with 3 seasons. 2025 is a lot of family obligations, I just had to measure, which direction to go. So I had to take a break from that. But that's how I got into executive producer. It was fun 3 seasons, man. Fun 3 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty cool that you got to see your work on the big screen too. I mean,
and then 2024 season, I wrote the script for Aladdin in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
So and I played Genie.
Yeah.
So that was the main role.
Yeah, that's actually my next question. Yes. It's a good transition. So I'll just ask it so you can jump into it. So you played Genie in one of your episodes. So what was it like stepping in front of the camera?
Man, it was so. As a director, it's different. But when you're an actor with a speaking role, it was my first speaking role. So I wrote the script, but I kept forgetting the lines. First off, it was filmed and it was really warm, and I was all painted blue.
Yeah.
That didn't help. But then it was just like I just kept forgetting my lines. So first, I think the very first shot was a monologue, and I just I could see it in the director's face, the camera, the script supervisor. Like, my God, how can you write the script and not remember your lines?
That's funny.
So that was my start, but it came the second day. It got better.
So it was a different so you don't have to worry about like cameras and like lenses and like you said, everything's different behind the scenes, but as opposed to just acting, all you got to worry about, like, pretty much for the most part, is just your lines, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, the one thing you have. Because and with Offset you have PAs, you have first camera, second camera. They have the whole unit.
Yeah.
So it's they do fabulous job with that, and it's having to work on both sides. It gives you a different perspective.
Okay, got you, man. Okay, so we'll jump into the last topic here and the last few questions, which is spirituality, creativity, and your life. So the first question in this topic is: if you experience multiple cultures, careers, creative outlets, how do you keep your spiritual life centered through all of that?
You can't. I'll be honest with you can't. I think sometimes. So we're blessed to be here in America. I would say, as someone who has lived outside of America,
mm-hmm.
I think God has. I mean, if you're born or even if you live here, you're blessed.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the most beautiful countries in the world, and people are nice too, big-hearted people, good people, and spiritual. But there's a lot of distractions,
mm-hmm.
and spirituality is something that you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with God,
mm-hmm.
and you just cannot mix the two together. And I think that's the mistake I made, and I was like borderline burned out.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't. So what I did was, so I was on the other side where I was distracted with all these great opportunities in the media and, professionally and career-wise and whatnot. I was trying to keep both, and I just somewhere I let the spiritual part of it go.
Yeah.
And went to all these other distractions. And what that did to me was that there was this anxiety, spiritual anxiety is what I call it. Something constantly telling you are there, you haven't got it made, there's something missing.
Okay.
Because I just, I wasn't rooted into what my being is, which is spirituality.
Gotcha.
So last year I was like, okay, what is going on? Like you get to the point where you can't figure things out. Just like, I have the resources, I have I don't know about the talent, but I have the resources and the knowledge and the people around, but things are not clicking, they're not happening.
Okay.
So I was like, active church. My wife and in-laws and even my own family very active in church. And anytime mom's text or message comes like, "Hey, are you going to church?" My wife is very, she sings as well, and her mom and they're very musically inclined, and there's always that tug right there. And I'll be honest, like, man, I get bored like being at church, even praying, but I had to. So the church we go to, we've been going there for 3 years, is a very practical church.
Okay.
They focus on your spirit. It's the Triumph Church. And the pastor he's a very practical guy. He knows the balance.
Okay.
And just listening to him is like, okay, let's start with the spirit. So I made that switch last year. We're more focused on, what if I have to let other things go to regain my spirit, that's totally worth it.
Yeah.
Because that comes with peace.
Yeah.
At this point, internal peace is very important, and I'm making progress there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think we all hit a point in life where, we do realize, like you just mentioned a few times, that, we're hitting like a burnout, getting stagnant, we're not connecting as close to God as we should be. So I think everybody has to hit that point in order to grow closer to God. Right?
Then you see people like Denzel Washington, who's like becoming priest, is like, okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So I'm on the right path. If I'm looking for, peace, I think everyone is, and we all know deep down that it's there, but it's just like whether we pursue it or not.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Then I saw you. It was like, hey, we'll be, because I see, it says Jesus, right? Jesus and Jitsu.
Yeah.
And then I saw your post about observing Sabbath. I was like, okay, we're all in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a huge thing. It's definitely good. But yeah, it's, everybody has their own individual experiences for sure. But it's how you pursue life after that obstacle, right? Some people go the right direction. Some people still go the wrong direction and just never find it.
And the funny part is, we don't know what the right or, we can't discern, like, what the right or wrong is. At the end of it, it's like God knows better.
Yeah.
We don't know. Like, for me, something may be wrong, and I see it as wrong, but it may not be,
I see what you're saying. That's a good point. Okay. So what role does faith play in your storytelling, whether it be film or music?
Well, from here on, it's going to be, we have to be very neutral. Here's another thing I've noticed, that God is a lot bigger than any religion or faith.
Mm-hmm.
We confine him to certain doctrines, a certain religions, a certain way of living. That God is a lot more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything changes, universe evolves, the world evolves, everything. And at the end of this, when we limit God, we limit our faith.
Mm-hmm.
So if we keep it open, it's a lot more than religion. It's a lot more than certain doctrines. It's a lot more than certain beliefs that may be outdated in next century or even next year. Who knows? So I think we need to, or for myself, I wouldn't speak for other people, man. Quite honestly, everyone's on their path, and whatever drives them is good for them.
Mm-hmm.
For myself, I think the real game changer was just thinking of God and building my relationship outside of what the doctrines dictate, what the religions or books dictate. God is a lot more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where.
Okay. Gotcha. So as a husband and father, how has parenthood influenced your perspective on creativity and purpose?
I'm exhausted.
It is exhausting.
The 4-year-old man, that little tornado, he's like so much energy, but it keeps me focused, and I love it. I love being a husband, because like I said, I was in the corporate life. I was making a lot of money, traveling a lot, partying a lot, and that's exhausting way of life.
Yeah.
It takes a toll on your spirit and your body.
Yeah.
But I love being married, man. She's a great wife. And sometimes maybe I think I don't give her enough credit. But and right now she's going through something. She had like an accident, and her knees kind of bothering her. And with a 4-year-old, it got me really grounded, like, and I think it has something to do with me shifting from distractions to a purpose and, direction in life. So I think more practically now about things that I want to do. And of course, show business is a pretty big industry.
Yeah.
But if you do things the right way, you'll get there. And I have a feeling for you, man. Like you'll get there soon. I see the zeal. I see that persistence, and I can I'm no saint or prophet or anything, but I have a feeling that you'll go places. Next time we meet, it'll be a pretty big platform.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
I do
have a
appreciate
feeling
that.
for you, and I have that hope for you.
Thank you. Appreciate that very much, actually. So last question. Looking ahead, what kind of legacy or message do you hope to leave through your art or your journey?
Man, if I'm fortunate enough to do that, it's just that, I don't have savior or messiah complex or anything like that where I can save anyone or anything like that. But if there is a legacy, and if it is, it's just like have some perspective, and if somebody needs it, they can relate to it. Just keep it real, keep it like, down to earth, realistic type of.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone, I would love for my son to be, able to see certain things from my perspective. Of course, he's going to have his own perspective, but the legacy I would like to leave would be for my son. And if anybody else benefits from, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But at the end, legacies don't last either. So.
Okay. So, just to caveat that question at the top of my head, I mean, you said you're kicking off KM Productions here next year. What are your long-term goals for that? Because it just got me thinking. It got the gears working a little bit after you just said about something about legacy, right? What is your long-term goals for KM Productions?
Man, I want to take it to the global, because I'm blessed enough to have experienced both sides, different cultures. So I want to have, so there's great things about here that people can benefit practically from the other cultures and other countries, and there's great things out there that people may not be aware of in practical sense of things,
right?
And they can just kind of get and just fuse this creativity, you can, because when things get stagnant, when you see the same thing over and over again, we just you lose so here's my thing on it. So there was a time when there was a great talent, but there weren't a whole lot of resources like we have now.
Okay.
If you had this vision 25, 30 years ago, it was almost impossible.
Uh-huh.
But now everyone who has access to gadgets, they can make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is we're transitioning from that to where there was a talent, but there weren't a whole lot of resources, and people who had it made it.
Mm-hmm.
To where we have all the resources and not a whole lot of talent. Quite honestly, I see some of these people that just do things on their cell, and it's like, my God, your parents lied to you.
Yeah.
No offense to, but just keep things real.
Yeah.
So going back to your questions about can productions, it's just focus on creative stuff more than, now we have, given we have access to technology, and these are great. So how do we, hang on to the creative stuff and not, either you can make a movie or you can make noise, whatever it is. So kind of just keeping entertainment or whatever I can. We don't know what the next 5 years is going to look like, with AI and everything,
For sure.
If you're creative, you can create great things without having to worry about resources, because now we have them. So whoever has I think it's going to be the true test of how creative you are.
Yeah.
Because now you have no excuse.
Yeah.
If you're creative, then you don't let the people see.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited to see what the future holds for you and Can
thank you.
Productions.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll keep in touch for that. So that being my last question, I'll go ahead and open up to you for your shout outs and where people can follow you on social media.
Yeah. It's like, so Facebook, Instagram, I don't know, man. It's like in this day and age, everyone should be, but I'm not like very active when it comes to things like that.
Mhm.
I don't post much, but Facebook is open, Instagram is open, and once the Can production starts, then of course I'll be posting a lot of stuff, and be sharing a lot of things with viewers. But yeah, I mean that's where it is, and if you find me, I mean I'm there.
Yeah.
It may not be a whole lot,
Yeah.
but primarily Facebook and Instagram is where it's at.
Okay. And I'll also throw your tags on the description of the video when your video comes out. So
Absolutely, and I'll let then I've seen your clips, and I'll post it as well.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely, man.
Well, yeah, thank you for coming along today. I'm sure the audience is going to enjoy your side and your story, your background, and then, like I said, I'm excited for the future of Can Productions. So, because I'm a huge cinephile, I love watching anything, So
Hey, maybe we can collaborate and come up with something out of pocket and just wow people, and people will be like, "What the hell?"
hey, yeah, I mean that's another open door. But yeah, we'll stay in touch and connected. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed another episode of Small Talk on the Mats today. Until the next episode, we will see you guys later. Peace out.
Peace out.